Good morning, everyone. I just finished a commission, and that I've been working on for the last few weeks. And I've got them out here. They've had their spray of dull coat just to take the shine off any of the tufts, basically, because they've already had paint brush on varnish. Anyway, the guys you can see in front of you, my customer asked me to paint them up with black shields based on the novels, Dark Age adventure sort of novels by Matthew Harvey, and with the main protagonist Beobrand. I haven't read the books myself, but he's says they're pretty cool, so he wanted to do some guys with black shields. These are all Colin Patton sculpts. He used to have them when they were Saxon miniatures, but now they're owned by Warlord Games. So it's a bit hard to make out in this light. But yeah, anyway, that's them. Pretty pleased with how they turn out. Down the line here, we've got some leader types. Actually, it doesn't show up too well in this light, but there is subtle weathering and differences of tones on the shields and things like that. It doesn't really register on the camera, but yeah, turned out nicely. Leader type figure here. Okay, so that's them. These you've seen before on a previous video. These are the shows of figures based on the Viking television show. These two guys have got reddish shields. This is based on the television show, and the Lagertha type character's got her sort of bluish turquoisey and black sort of shield. And yeah. Anyway, you've seen these before, I dare say. If you've been watching my videos, and over the back you've seen also before the monks and priests. That's them. Now, just jumping over, also over the back here, some more Footsore miniatures, spear arm dudes with Little Big Men Studios shield decals. And you've also seen before these bowmen on a previous video. What you haven't seen, I'll bring them forward because it's just easier to get the camera up. And I put a lot of work into these, but it was enjoyable work because they're lovely miniatures. These are now I've got to get this right. It's Matthew Bickley, not Mike Bickley. Matt Bickley, I believe, sculpts, I think. Yeah, that's the sculptor's name. Yeah, these are gorgeous. These later Anglo Saxons. Yeah, the camera doesn't really quite show them up to the sort of full extent of the detail and everything on them, but really nice figures. This is the one I think in earlier videos I talked about, I put it on a mound of, it's got like cork and green stuff and things like that to sort of build him up a bit more. Make him look a bit more prominent there with his Dane axe. Cool miniature. And this one I think is probably meant to be like a Harold Godwinson type figure. I've gone for a lot of sort of complementariness of colours and stuff, and unfortunately this light doesn't show up all the detail in it. Everything on these dudes, there's a lot of extra little work in them that I guess only Paul will appreciate when he sees them in hand. So you've got a lot of colour, sort of picking out echoes of different colours, like with on his cloak and then on the banner with the sort of wyvern type character. And then you've got this sort of, there we go. Now on the back here, I tried to make the colours of the standard bearer not outshadow the colours that are on the king, because you know you don't want to draw the eye unnecessarily away from the main man, but you want him to complement, and also to look at the banner and then look back here and have your eye sort of bounce between the two. You've got this really rich cloak that he's wearing with red, and it's hard to make it out here, but there's some very subtle, almost non-metallic metal gold sort of shading on the trim of his cloak. As I say, it's a bit hard to make out, but now the shield, this design, this wyvern design, is completely freehand. I just sort of, sketched that out, painted that in. So that's a freehand design. And they've got lovely details on them, these miniatures, even down to like, you know, jewelled rings on their fingers and all this sort of stuff. It's fantastic sculpts. So you can see again, this is what I said about going for simplicity on the secondary figure. He's just got a very simple shield design, just a black and white sort of halved sort of shield. But you'll also notice that he's got blues and golds on him himself, but they're not overpowering. But they also link in with the colours that are on here. So it's all about trying to sort of keep things in balance. I don't know how close we can get to this dude. See, there we go. So you've got a lot of different leathers. There's red leathers and almost purplish black leathers and more orange leathers and different golds, things like that. So yeah, really nice miniatures. And there's some of the others that come from that same series of figures. You've got a guy, come on, focus. There we go. Blowing the horn there. Nice, and just a simple sort of freehand shield design there. The green sort of complement the sort of reddish brown of the cloak. And here there is a another standard bearer. Nice standard from Little Big Ben Studio. So he's got a sort of a bluish cloak going on there. What have we got here? And on the and this bluish grey cloak. And then this is a yellow and sort of charcoal grey freehand simple shield design. Yeah. And then you got this chappy here. Come on, fella. There we go. So he's got a nice rich green sort of cloak going on. And again, a simple sort of freehand painted shield design on his kite shield. Lovely miniatures. Lots of detail, really good figures. Okay, yeah, now what am I going to show you next? Oh yeah, here, let's get this chappy, bring him up. Now, let's see if we can get him, there we go. Now this is the Redwald miniature from Footsore Miniatures. It's by an alternative sculptor. I'm not sure of the chap's name, but I've tried to put a lot of extra detail in, or pick out any detail that's there with the paint scheme, and he's quite colourful. Gone for a striped spear and quite brightly coloured battle robe and gear. It's loosely based. I don't know about loosely, maybe it's actually closely based, but I did my best to base it on a scheme worn by a reenactor by the name of Dave Huggins. He does some excellent work. So we see I've gone for this sort of reddish leather shield, very much sort of what, you know, the Sutton Hoo finds might have been like if they were worn by Redwald. You can see he's got that fur draped over his shoulders. Yeah, so picked out a lot of extra sort of bright colours, but yeah, I was really pleased with how that turned out actually. There he is. Yeah, he's cool. And lastly, and this is the last thing I've been working on for over the last few days, is the Aethelflaed, Lady of the Mercians. Now, this is my third attempt at a video. The last couple of them, one I've deleted already, and the other one I will delete. I had tried to film myself painting some of this, but a lot of the time my hand was getting in the way, and the camera and other factors as well. But yeah, here she is. Now I've gone for a colour scheme that is very closely echoes another figure I painted for Paul a little while back. Was the Footsore Alfred the Great miniature. Now Alfred the Great was her father, and so it's a very similar colour scheme. That Alfred that I did also had this sort of creamy coloured main garment with this bright reddish sort of trim, but with gold sort of decoration woven into it. And also this sort of a greeny colour in parts as well, which I've done on the saddle blanket. I'll show you as well. I've also echoed it in the shield design. So I've given her a very pale horse, whitish, greyish sort of horse, very light. Let's just, there we go, bring that into focus. So as we zoom around, we'll see I've gone for a quite a decorative sort of shield design. I think the sculptor should have probably gone for a leather covered shield rather than the boards, but you know, I did still manage to get a design on there, almost sort of a floral type of motif without being too over the top. So yeah, it's a bit hard to make out because it's sort of in the shadows as it leans back. You might be able to see it better when we look at the one on foot. So yeah, a lot of the equipment the leather equipment is a reddish leather, base coloured with cavalry brown and highlighted with red leather from Vallejo. The cloak is a real rich blood red from Reaper. It's a triad. which was also on the Alfred the Great miniature, her father. The same sort of scheme. Yeah, so I don't know how well we can get the details on that. Yeah, so you can see the sort of detailing on the edge of the robe that she's wearing, and it's on the wrists as well. There's just a little scheme of goldy oranges over the reddish background, triangles and dots and stuff like that, just to give it that added decoration. Oh, and there's a little bit of, even on the saddle blanket, just some of that same purple that's on the shield, purple and green and white, is also echoed on the blanket. Here we are. She's not the most attractive looking woman as far as miniatures go, but she's certainly striking character. Again, it's got that decoration on the bottom of her dress, her garment, a bit lost in the grass. I tried to keep the grass a bit short around the front so at least you can see some of it. Again, the rich red robes that were on the Alfred figure as well, and the same sort of colour schemes are in play here, with a red leather strap coming across, the gold crown. There are tiny touches of, you can't really see it, probably about sort of an amethyst kind of metallic on the crown, and a slight sort of turquoisey glaze on the metals of the sword and the spear tip. And here you can perhaps better see the same freehand shield design that I've gone for here. So let me get a bit closer so you can see. You can see it because of those the ridges in the wood, and the sculpting makes it a little bit more challenging to get it smooth, but I'm really quite pleased with how that turned out. And it's a nice contrast, the greenish with the red, and I think the purple complements it as well. The purple is a good complementary for yellows, and so, you know, she's got blonde hair, there's lots of gold, and there's this creamy yellowish colour in her main dress, and that complements the purple. So, yeah. Like I say, she's a pretty grim looking bird, facially. But yeah, pleased with how that turned out. So yeah, that's my version of Aethelflaed, Lady of the Mercians, daughter of Alfred the Great. So there you have it, guys. Paul, I hope you enjoy those, and I'll get some photos taken later today, and then usually I like to take my photos, get them to the customer first before I put these videos up online, so the customer can get first sight. Yeah. Not going to go into anything else at the moment. I'm still alive, still here, still kicking, and we'll see what the future holds, eh? So, all the best. I hope you enjoyed seeing these, found them of interest. If you've got any questions, leave it in the comments below. Appreciate the likes and subscriptions, and if you want to ring that notification thing as well, just so to let you know when I have uploaded something new. I'm not sure when the next one will be, that's for sure. Yeah, it might be, subject wise, it might be some Dark Age, Middle Eastern Arab types, I think, that Mark has sent me to paint up for him. So, alright guys, thanks for watching, and all the best to you. Bye.